welcome back. Time for another movie review, as I spent a lot of time in theaters this week. For the second of my double feature, I saw Thor: The Dark World. If I could describe this movie in one word, and trust me I can, the word would be meh. It was slightly disappointing. I think in the scope of superhero movies, especially the contemporary ones made within the last 10 to 15 years, it would probably fall directly in the middle. The antagonist in this movie, the dark elf Malekith. That's one of the great things about sci-fi movies nowadays, is they are really reinterpreting what people think about elves. So, Malekith, as the story and exposition goes in the beginning, created this very powerful object called the Ether when he tried to make all of the realms dark. He was defeated. The Ether was buried very deep. Who else would find it but Jane Foster, Thor's lady? For probably the most powerful guy in the galaxy, or maybe the universe, Natalie Portman? Of all the girls to choose from? She, of course, gets transported back to Thor. They're reunited via some astrophysics plane of gravity, time, dimension. I need a drink. Her locating the Ether reawakens Malekith, who then comes after her to find it. She's got weird powers. Thor's mad, back on Earth. I don't know, you guys. It started to make sense in the beginning and then completely lost me by the end. I think one of my common complaints with superhero movies is that they are becoming overly complex in terms of plot, and especially now that there are sequels, prequels, and an entire lineage of different movies of different characters, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, the Avengers, that all follow in sort of a chronology. The plot is getting complex and it's getting very intertwined, and I found myself being distracted from the movie a couple times. The climax, the action was all really great. I just really wish I understood why what was on screen was happening and how we got there. It was really awesome to look at, not as easy to watch. Of course, Chris Hemsworth plays an amazing Thor, but Natalie was once again just herself in this movie, playing Jane Foster, astrophysicist who talks about stuff that doesn't make sense to anybody. She brings out a gadget and a gizmo and becomes very integral to the climax and to the resolution of the movie. It would kind of be nice to really know what the heck she's talking about. Back in the movie once again, Stellan Skarsgård and Kat Dennings, who just basically talks like a child the entire movie. I find her very entertaining, but I don't actually think she's an actress. She just seems to play herself, which is awesome because it gets her roles in movies like Thor and Thor 2, and of course her own sitcom, but I think they could do more with her character than just constantly making her the comic relief. One of my biggest pet peeves about this movie is it couldn't really decide if it was an action movie or a comedy. Cheesy, corny, some scenes were laugh after laugh after laugh. I don't think that's the point of Thor: The Dark World. It wasn't meant to be a comedy, but they overused the comedic elements way too much. Now, is too much comedy a symptom of the Disney takeover? I think, of course, it could be argued that way, but I think you could also think that now that we are building off of not only Thor, but bringing in references to Captain America, or, of course, Loki, who was the villain in the Avengers, that played a part in the storyline. I think there's just so many things that you could do reflexive humor off of, and you could make so many allusions to other pieces of media. I consider myself sort of a superhero nerd, but it was overdone for me. I don't need that many tips of the hat or that many nods to make me laugh. Dat elf though, creepy. So, see the next Thor movie? Maybe? Overall, my opinion of Thor, as I said, very meh, didn't really do it for me. 2.5 hammers out of 5? Let me know what you thought. Am I way off base? Could you explain the whole plot to me down in the comments below? I want to know what you thought of Thor: The Dark World. Be sure to click that like button and, of course, subscribe to my channel for more film reviews. I'll be seeing another movie very soon.